Of all the first-party exclusives in the PS5's launch lineup, I think a lot of people, myself included, looked at Sackboy: A Big Adventure and immediately pegged it as bog-standard launch day fodder. Releasing alongside the likes of Spider-Man Miles Morales and Demon's Souls, Sackboy seemed like the launch title every console has that's forgotten about and or scoffed at in a few years due to its mediocrity. The PS5's knack, if you will. On top of that, Sackboy had a few things going against it in my eyes. It was being developed by Sumo Digital, a developer with, to put it politely, less than stellar reputation. The title was also a spin-off of Little Big Planet, a series I don't have a particular fondness for, nor deep knowledge of. Sackboy was also curiously absent from Sony's big PlayStation 5 launch day reveal stream back in September, and that was a possible sign that the publisher themselves didn't have a lot of confidence in the game. With all that in mind, it pleases me all the more to say that I had quite a bit of fun with Sackboy: A Big Adventure. It's maybe the most surprising game I've played on the channel since Titanfall 2 back in 2016. What caught me off guard right out of the gate is how immediately fun it was to pick up and play. Sackboy possesses this vibrant energy that captivated me from the start. The game's very forgiving when it comes to making mistakes, and its difficulty curve gradually and smoothly increases throughout the campaign. Another thing that surprised me was how creative and varied its levels were. One level has you running on walls using sticky honey as your means of defying gravity. Another has you exploring the ocean depths with a giant crab as you help him collect treasure on his barge. One of my personal favorites has you quickly navigating the environment while maneuvering around a runaway train. I can imagine Sumo Digital having a great time coming up with all the fun scenarios and challenges Sackboy has to offer. But the crown jewel are the levels synced up to and designed around licensed songs. I'm not going to spoil most of them, but the thing that won me over to the game as a whole was an ingenious level dedicated to the song Uptown Funk. I have this giant smile on my face whenever I play and think about it. Going through it for the first time is one of my personal favorite gaming moments of the year.
Girl said you hallelujah. Girl said you hallelujah. Girl said you hallelujah. 'Cause Uptown Funk won't give it to you. 'Cause Uptown Funk won't give it to you. 'Cause Uptown Funk won't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch.
The game also looks and sounds beautiful. It runs at a near buttery smooth 60 frames per second regardless of the console you're playing on, and the environments are filled to the brim with stunning details that bring to life the handcrafted aesthetic it's going for. The PS5 version peppers in even more details to make the scenery look extra stunning. Sackboy and the supporting cast animations are infused with a bunch of personality, and the voiced roles are uniformly excellent. I particularly loved Richard E. Grant as Vex, a creepy yet lovable villain who wouldn't feel out of place in a Tim Burton movie. The soundtrack is just magnificent. Outside of the catchy title theme of the first Little Big Planet, I was ignorant of how many great tunes this series has. Both the remixes and original tracks in Sackboy are a joy to listen to, and I even caught myself humming some of them when I was going about my day at work. Unfortunately, Sackboy doesn't quite reach the same heights as the all-time great platformers. What dampens my enthusiasm the most are its length and over-reliance on speed and reflexes in later levels that the somewhat floaty and imprecise platforming can't keep up with. There's a masterpiece buried somewhere in this game, but it's forever lost in an avalanche of filler levels, mostly uninspired boss battles, and some really frustrating sections. I feel like the game loses steam around the halfway mark, and the second half has more hit and miss levels compared to the first. A lot of the gameplay gimmicks that are initially exciting wear out their welcome when you experience them over and over again. The game is superb when it prioritizes relaxing exploration over precise timing. Where it falters is in those aforementioned levels that focus on precise timing, because the gameplay can't comfortably match the game's ambition and demands. And sadly, those less enjoyable levels are abundant in the second half of the game. Thankfully, a really satisfying conclusion and a bevy of enticing endgame content prevents the game from falling into disappointment territory. Even with the issues it has, Sackboy: A Big Adventure is still something I can recommend without hesitation. Sumo Digital have finally proven to me that they have the chops to create good stuff. It doesn't reach the same heights that its fellow PS5 launch platform or Astro's Playroom does, but I still had a good time with Sackboy. I'd even love to see a sequel someday. On a final note, if Microsoft wants to finally pull its head out of its ass and Rare is still diddling around with that Everwild game, Sumo would be a perfect fit for the Banjo-Kazooie comeback a lot of fans have been begging for years now. And that's high praise coming from me.